People don't understand the implications. I have a really good friend. She's my best friend, really. She was born in New Zealand. She came to the States, lived here for 35 years. When her sister passed, she moved back to New Zealand. She is a Republican, and if she had stayed here, she probably would have been a Trump supporter. She has watched the antics of our politics from 18,000 miles away and is getting everything from the perceptions of whatever the New Zealand press is telling her. We had this conversation last night. We're kind of right in the middle of a pseudo fight. She's telling me about the lady who ran New Zealand during COVID and how they were isolated and how this caused a lot of really bad things in New Zealand. And she's saying, okay, so Trump did do things that weren't so great, but it wasn't that bad, and you certainly wouldn't want Biden. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I do want Biden. Let's see. Joe Biden has dedicated his entire life. He is old school. He's one of the last of his kind who still believes that the president should serve his country, not that the country should serve the president. Joe Biden sees himself as a servant. He works for the people. How many politicians still think that way? I want Joe Biden, as long as that man is breathing, to be running this country. I don't care if he's a little bit slower because he's 81 years old. He still is putting America first, which is something that should be an absolute number one top job requirement to getting the position. Joe Biden puts America first. He puts the people first. He wants to make things better for the people. That's his goal. That's his what he wants, his motivation. What is Trump's motivation? I want to be dictator on day one. I want to be about vengeance and retribution and calming my overactive, wounded ego. I want to unalive anybody who disagrees with me or who stood against me or who opposed me. I'm going to charge them with treason just for wanting to run against me in a legal and fair election. That's Trump. Where exactly is he talking about helping people? What are his plans to help the people? How passionate is he when he gets up on the podium, behind the podium? Sorry, I just had a flash of him standing on the podium. How hilarious would that be? Standing behind the podium, what are the words coming out of his mouth? How do they relate to helping the people and strengthening this country and strengthening our democracy and giving us rights and helping our jobs and our families? He's talking instead about tearing this down and tearing that down and getting back at people. And isn't so-and-so such a loser? That's Trump. He does not see himself as a servant at all. He sees, how can this benefit me? He looks at a cemetery full of gravestones of the fallen heroes that gave their life for our country, and he goes, I don't get it. What was in it for them? Maybe nothing was in it for them except getting to serve their country and fight for something that they believed in. Donald Trump doesn't know the beginning of the meaning of those words. He doesn't know any of that. He's had everything handed to him on a silver platter. He's never had to fight for anything in his life. And she's like, you certainly don't want Joe Biden. No, I do. I want the one man who is standing between getting to continue to have a country that has a democracy that protects the people and a U.S. Constitution that protects the people, and having that all fall to dust and have this country be made into a fascist state where we get to have our rights ripped away and we get to have a dictator lording over us, deciding when we can drive our cars, when we can buy groceries, how much money we have to pay him in taxes. And he wants money. So the taxes are going to go through the roof. He doesn't care about people. He doesn't care if he takes away Social Security and Medicare. If people die in the streets, he won't care at all. If people are huddled under bridges starving to death, he won't care. Nor will he have any feelings at all for the people that he decides that he wants to eradicate. I want the one man who is standing between that possible reality and the one we are currently living in. That's Joe Biden. A vote for Trump is a vote for tyranny, oppression, and people suffering and possibly being unalive. That's a vote for Trump. I don't want to vote for Trump. I don't want to not vote at all, because my vote is one more thing stopping that monster. She doesn't get it. She doesn't get that it's not just a person. Oh, well, what harm can 4 more years of Donald Trump cause? Nothing, because he's useless. He is nothing now but a tool. He's got dementia. He can't even do his rallies anymore without going off into some spin about batteries and sharks. And he gets names wrong constantly, yet they pick on Joe Biden for having 2 that he got wrong. Trump isn't there anymore in his head. Except you notice when he's angry, suddenly everything comes together and he's very concise. But when he's not angry, he doesn't have that fueling his words, the hatred fueling his words. He's off and he's talking about whatever that pops into his head. It's like word salad, diarrhea coming out of his mouth, kind of like I'm doing right now. Blah, 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 blah. Sorry, I'm hoping I don't come across that way. Maybe I do. I'm also older. But I mean, he's a tool. They've more or less admitted to the fact that he's a tool, that he is their key to pulling the trigger on this thing that they want to do to destroy our democracy. That's what they want to do. And they're proud about it. They're walking around free. They're not in prison for treason, even though they're very vocal about what they want to do, taking over our country, destroy our democracy, destroying the vision our founding fathers had for this country, and the protections they put in place to keep the Christian religion out of our government. They're proud of the fact they want to destroy all of that and all the things that my dad and my grandfather fought to defend and preserve. They want to destroy. Rome fell from within. This country is falling from within. And the only way we will save it is recognizing the people in this country that are striving to destroy us.